How do you process anger when you have bypassed it most of your life? How do you recognize healthy anger?
Okay, it is really, really critical, super, super critical that we look at the potential, that instead of diving straight into whatever we want or diving straight into whatever we don't want, we have to consider that we have resistance to it in the first place. So that resistance itself is kind of like a layer of ice that's keeping us out of the water that we want to go into. It's not going to be possible for you from the space that you're in to process negative anger or process healthy anger, because of the reality, which is that you are actually resisting anger in the first place.
Well, what's the difference between healthy and not healthy anger?
Judgment.
That's it?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I'm...
Okay.
No, there's no such thing as unhealthy anger. Anger is
Okay.
emotion. Maybe I should have... Alright, let's split hairs, shall we? Let's split hairs. There's no such thing as unhealthy anger. It doesn't exist.
I think that's important for people to know.
Anger is just an emotion. An emotion is just an indicator. That's what it's doing. It's basically like your gas gauge on your car. It's saying, you are here. This is the reality. That's all it's saying. So, anger can never be wrong. It is always the direct reflection of some reality, whether it's a mental reality that you have, thoughts, or something that's happening externally. So I guess, thank you, quit defining healthy versus unhealthy anger. Actions that we take are separate from emotions. So what you're trying to get at when you say unhealthy anger is basically, it's unhealthy anger if I heal someone.
Mm-hmm.
That's not anger. That's an action taken based on an emotion. Anger is never wrong. An action that we can take as a result of feeling anger could potentially be morally wrong. But you got to stop this condemnation of the emotion in general. But, I mean, it's really hilarious that we're even having this conversation, because even that statement, how do you define healthy versus unhealthy anger, is indicative of what I was talking about to begin with, which is you have resistance to it in the first place. There is no way to process anger or even get into any type of anger unless you deal with that aspect. The one that's saying, no, anger is not okay. No, anger leads to hurt. No, anger, blah, blah, blah. So the way to do it is to find the part of you who resists anger. You're not going to be able to work with anger unless you deal with that part. So I want you to imagine and visualize it like this. Say that this is my anger, right? I'm basically like the part that doesn't think it's okay. So I'm standing in front of it, and you're trying to get to it with your own consciousness, and I'm like, nope. You don't see this. Don't go there. This is unhealthy. What if this leads us to bad places? See, I'm basically the barrier, so you got to deal with me first if you want to get here. So, one of the ways that we can do that, those of you who watched my video, if you haven't, you should, on fragmentation, I gave you a way to do this. You can, if you feel so brave, you can go into a state where you're channeling just that part of you. So let's take Lynn here. If Lynn is having issues getting to the anger, and we knew that there was a part of her that was resisting the anger, I would ask her to step into the part of her and literally just become only the part of her that has a resistance to feeling anger.
So you'd have me go into the resistance.
The one who feels the resistance, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any resistance to anger or
Not
not really?
lately.
What changed?
Honestly, what changed is like knowing like that it's the way through. Again, like going into that powerlessness. Like, can you give them like an incentive to go through it? Like, why is anger important to go through?
Anger is where your boundaries exist. Without anger, you have no boundaries. Anger is really the one that's saying, this was a no for me, and it happened anyway. That's what it's saying. So you can't actually live into your personal truth with no access to anger. It's impossible. Also, it's real hard to get yourself out of powerless states without that. Because
anger is above powerlessness.
It is. And if you feel anger come through your body, the reason that it's so easy to take negative actions on anger is because it's a movement that comes through your body. It's a movement. It's like the opposite of powerless. Powerless is freeze. Anger goes, fuck that. Right? So you can actually use the energy of anger to take action. It's just what action, and that's where our enlightened and objective consciousness needs to come into play. Otherwise, we're probably going to kill someone.
But again, like, anger is only ever just a cover emotion for a powerless state, right?
Yes.
Okay. So really what they're, like, avoiding is the powerlessness.
Yes.
But you have to get to the anger first in order to even go down.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, powerlessness doesn't tell you about your boundaries either.
Okay.
See, powerless is I can't do anything about it. Anger goes, you're not going to be doing this forever. I'm sorry. Right? So, yeah. It shows you the way. Okay, so here's how this goes. If I was Lynn trying to deal with this aspect of me, I would put 2 chairs down in a room. So I'm getting down right now. These are 2 chairs, right? Now I would have her come over to this chair. Knowing that when she does this, she's going to switch completely into the aspect of her that resists anger. Now, she's not Lynn, okay? Lynn is not any other part of Lynn. Right now, she is just the part of her that resists anger. I don't want to hear... By the way, this part does not have balanced explanations.
Do you want me to go into it?
Yes, separate parts are not balanced. So when you're talking to the average person, and I can tell you you're one of these people, you'll be like, well, he's such an asshole, but I love him and he does some things that are good. Do you feel that? But. That is not how these individual parts talk. The individual parts are definitive. They're the ones that are like, no, anger is not okay. I'm sorry. It's not going to be okay to do that. It's not going to take into account any other perspective. And that's what we want right now. We want to just become completely familiar with the aspect that's resisting to see if we can get any kind of wiggle room, not making it wrong, just get any kind of wiggle room in that perspective.
You want me to go into it?
Yeah, anger's wrong.
Do you want to put me in a role?
You can do it just by switching in. I don't need to put you in one.
Anger is wrong? So I'm the resistance of anger.
You're the part of Lynn who thinks that anger is wrong. That's resisting anger, not letting me get down to anger.
I need to look like a good person all the time.
That was quick. Okay. Usually takes us an hour to get to that truth. Okay, I need to look like a good person.
I've done a lot of work with you. So.
Okay. I need to look like a good person all the time. And you can't do that if you're angry, right?
No.
Everyone hates someone who's angry.
It feels isolating. Like if people do know that I have a lot of anger, I'm afraid they won't want to be around me.
Yeah. Do you have any desire in you to have people around you that are okay with anger?
That just did something to my brain, like it didn't occur to me that that was possible.
Do you remember being angry when you were a kid?
I remember my dad being angry at me and not wanting to look like that.
So you decided you wouldn't be like that?
Yes.
Can you see how by deciding not to be like your dad, you basically have swung the pendulum the opposite direction?
Yeah. I wasn't allowed to express it, even if I was.
Okay. Can you look at the possibility that without any anger, you're just a doormat?
Yeah.
How does that feel?
Horrible.
What does it feel like?
Literally like people are walking on top of me.
How are you going to tell them that that's not okay?
This is a super pattern for me, but I'm just going to like hope that one day they'll recognize what they're doing and stop doing it.
Do you see how powerless that is?
That's super powerless, yeah.
What if you could use that anger that you're feeling that they're walking on top of you to express the fact that it's bothering you and it's a no? What if that could make them stop now?
Then I'm afraid they won't want to be around me.
So look at your belief pattern. Your belief pattern is the only way for me to have people in my life is if I let them step on me.
Yeah.
Do you really want relationships then?
Not those kind.
What kind of relationships do you want?
People are just really accepting of where I'm at.
Does that include anger?
Yeah.
Do you realize that to have people accept your anger, you're going to have to be able to be angry? It's almost like to have somebody accept your naked body, you're going to have to be naked. Can you let yourself try a little bit? Even if to begin with it's just you feeling your own anger.
I feel more willing to try it.
How about if we allow the part of you that's angry to talk a little bit?
Okay.
You're okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm switching.
Okay, now she can
Okay.
go into the other chair. Knowing that when you sit down, you're just your angry self, okay? The part of Lynn that's angry.
I'm like super afraid of this part.
Who's I? Who's afraid of this part? See, what I'm doing is I'm having us treat these parts of ourselves as if they're completely separate beings so that we can gain complete awareness about that perspective.
This part of me feels like I'm afraid that I'll actually take action.
Uh-huh.
I can actually hurt people.
Yeah, you're afraid to hurt people, but you're the one that's angry, though.
This feels like murderous rage.
Yeah.
Actually, it's like way worse than like a normal anger.
Yeah, I know, which is what this person's afraid of. So, but tell us about it. Come on. Why do you feel murderous rage? I'm telling you that I've created a safe container right here for you to feel this way. And to be this way. You literally have the promise that nobody here is going to hold this against you.
I guess I don't believe that because this part of my anger like wants to destroy something.
So take us through the process of it mentally.
Like I'm afraid if I feel it completely, I'm just gonna fucking like tear everything up.
See how she's still fighting it?
I'm like really resistant to it.
Well, I still need you to be the aspect of you that's angry, not the one who's telling me right now that it's not okay to go there.
It does feel better that you are saying like you're allowing me to be in it.
You're still not going into it.
I'm having a hard time.
So look at yourself. Look at the resistance. I'm not getting past this. Do you
I'm
feel
like
this right now?
diffusing it.
I know, I'm not getting past this. I can't get to the anger because you keep telling me why it's not okay. I can't do anything with that. You're going to have to choose to let me see this part of yourself. Do you see? I want to claw their face off with my nails. What else? Look, you're not taking action. Do you see that? You're feeling the feeling in your body, but you're not taking action.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me more about what you feel.
I feel like the world is super unfair.
That's sadness.
Like I want to take machetes to everything and just like watch everything bleed.
That's anger. Okay, good.
Like really bad.
Keep going.
It's like a bloodlust.
Yep. Fuck these people. You're right to feel this way. Why do you want them to die?
Because they deserve it.
Why?
I want them to feel my pain.
So you're more in sadness right now than anger.
I'm trying to stay in it. I just keep going down.
That's okay. Well, let's just stay with whatever is. If you get somebody who's real angry, this is not how it's going to look. It's going to look like, fuck them, I fucking hate them, I fucking hate everyone. That's what it's going to look like, okay? But let's just stay with this because you keep sinking lower. Okay, so it's super unfair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I keep sinking down to like powerlessness. I can feel like in this state, like how anger does feel better.
Mm-hmm.
I just keep going down again.
Why?
Again, like I think the resistance to looking like a bad person.
Okay, so I'm not talking to the aspect of you that's angry, am I? The truth of Lynn is that she wouldn't even let me see that part, huh? Okay, so here's the thing. I'm going to honor your boundary today. This is me not, feeling what your angry self needs. You need not to be pushed. So I'm going to honor the fact that you don't want to get angry. That gets to be your choice.
That feels better.
Okay. So, now what I need you to do, come in the middle of these two chairs. This is a really critical part, by the way. If you're doing this process yourself at home and you're basically going into each different polarized perspective, to sit in the middle and to feel both these parts as if they're two different people sitting on either side of you. This one, had a lot of rational stuff to say about why, right? You notice that? This one had a lot of rational stuff to say about why it's not okay to be angry.
Mm-hmm.
This one wouldn't go there. It wouldn't go there for a lot of emotional reasons. So even though we tried to get down to the angry self, we couldn't do it because that's how strong your resistance is to anger. So those of you who are watching, you got to deal with the resistance first. That's all we really did. We didn't even get down to anger. We started to deal with the resistance. And part of how I dealt with the resistance is to say, it's okay, it's a choice to be angry. That's a boundary she didn't get. If she can't access anger, she never was allowed to have boundaries. So
I feel like I'm not allowed to get angry unless there's a massive trigger, and then I need the super validation. So just getting into it, I don't feel valid in it.
I know. That's part of the resistance as well. All I'm interested in doing is alerting your consciousness, those of you who are on this workshop, to the fact that this is the level of resistance we have to certain emotions. And without dealing with the resistance first, we're never going to get to the emotion. Make sense?
Okay.
I've got a couple online ones.
Okay.